everyone, welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing an Icons of Horror interview. Today I have with us, listen, this is a movie back in 1991 that scared the crap out of me as a kid. It was called People Under the Stairs. I had the Stairmaster himself, actor, producer, Jan Birch. Jan, welcome to the Horror Room.
Thank you so much, Travis. Thanks for having me. Very appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you on, man. Pleasure to have you on. People on the Stairs was probably one of my favorite horror movies, and your character was definitely one that gave me nightmares for days.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. You know, it was fun to play a character that would actually scare the crap out of people, but at the same time, he was more or less a hero in the end.
Yes,
with Fool. So,
100%.
Yeah, different take on horror, especially usually the one with the most makeup is the scare, the one that does all the bad stuff. But in this scenario, it was a different kind of movie.
It 100% was. Now, Jan, before you became actor, you were a musician. I mean, you at a young age, you know how to play, the trumpet, the flute. Now, how did you transition from music and arts to acting?
Didn't really transition. I started doing plays early as well. My father was in the business, and he was also a musician, director, producer, stand-up comedian. And in Europe, a lot of people did all the above. It was more like the old style artists over here, like the Fred Astaire's and the Dean Martins, and they were Sammy Davis. They were able to almost they had to be able to dance and sing and play and act. There was an all-around kind of artistry in a little different way than it became when I grew up. So in Europe, it was more or less that way when I grew up. I played my music, I did my acting. Then when I did, made the decision to take the step to move over here, they wanted to put me in a category immediately. They were like, either you do music or you do acting. And in those days, it was even, if you want to do acting, you have to decide between TV and film. And if you decide TV, you have to decide between soaps and prime time. It was like everything was very categorized and specialized. So I came over here. I wanted to keep playing some music, but I decided, okay, let's give acting a shot first, focus on that. And that's how it all came about.
Now, as an actor, you were talking about, when back in the day, I remember like Hollywood actors. When it came to Hollywood actors, you were either, like you said, in movies or TV. Now, and the times have definitely changed. You definitely start seeing more big name Hollywood actors. They're doing series now, and vice versa. Now, was it hard when you first started acting in the States? Was it hard to not be typecast?
Yes and no. Or I shouldn't say hard, because I was just very happy. When I booked my first movie, before that, I did some music videos and commercials. And in those days, if you recall, in the MTV early days, especially the rock bands and the heavy metal bands started doing like mini features on their music videos. Mm-hmm. So I got the lead in a couple of those videos before I actually got my first film, playing like a lead actor in a music video. And then, I went to see Roger Corman at Concord Horizons for Slumber Party Massacre 3. That was actually called Nightlight when I read for it, and then it became one of the Slumber Party Massacre franchise movies. And I was just very excited to get my first film. And then after that, I got People Under the Stairs with Wes Craven was my second film. And then I did some things in between, and then I got Bless the Child with Chuck Russell. So I was very fortunate to work with some really big directors that was, mostly did horror. And I didn't really think about it as a typecasting in those days. But, now, of course, the horror community is very appreciative. They really respect you. They really support you. But, and I can't say anything bad about it, the horror, because it brought me far. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to do other things, of course.
Yes. Now being so influential in the horror community, were you a horror fan growing up?
I can't say I was.
Really? Okay.
No, it might sound come like surprise, but no, I wasn't. I was more yeah, a good movie was a good movie. It was if it was a drama or a comedy, and growing up, with my parents and stuff, they really liked the Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly movies and those older ones. So with a lot of dance, music and dance, which was my whole family was that kind of family. Everybody danced and sang and played music and so forth. So I saw a lot more of those kind of films growing up, and but then of course I saw some horror movies as well, and my favorite horror movie of all time is The Shining.
A
With, Stan-
classic.
with, with Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, you can't really go wrong. And what Jack Nicholson does in that one is just mind-boggling to me. Still, that movie. Still, you can take it against any other movie, in my opinion, and you see quality. So that's that's my favorite movie in this genre.
And one thing, great thing about Shining, even at the early stages of his career with Jack Nicholson, it showed the range that he had, and that he still has. He's why he's one of the greatest actors that ever lived.
Yeah, yeah, and less words and more reactions, more showing more with his actions and his face and his behavior
Facial expression, yeah.
than when he speaks. And see that was a lot what I had to do, obviously, as the stand master when my tongue was cut off. So I mean, Wes and I worked a lot, and he's like, you have to be able to talk, but you can't talk.
Yeah.
so so actually on that movie, when I first read for it, everybody that read for Standmaster actually read for Roach. So there was Sean Whalen read for Roach, I read for Roach, and a bunch of other people read for Roach, and then we went to the callback with Wes, and we had to do because both Roach and Standmaster have their tongue out, but at that point Wes had not really developed the Standmaster character. He didn't really know where to go with it. He kind of wanted to see who was going to play it first, because it was going to be a lot of prosthetics and et cetera, with on that aspect. So fortunately for me, I came to set every morning, and almost every day when I sat in my makeup chair, Wes came with new pages. So that character, the Standmaster character, was more or less developed during shooting. Which was a great experience for me, especially with somebody like Wes. The way he works.
And Wes Craven, probably my favorite horror director by far. And it, I mean, Friday the 13th. But when it came to people on the series, I saw it like when it first came on the VHS, and I remember seeing the trailers. But it's a movie that over the years it has grown and grown and has a cult following. Are you shocked that, like, wow, now in 2024 there's a whole new generation who's discovering people on the stairs, and I even hear that there's a reboot coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I mean, we had no idea when we were shooting it. We knew my manager told me this is Wes Craven, but to be honest with you, I haven't heard much about Wes Craven before I got this part. And when we shot it, we didn't really know where it was going to go. But looking back at it now, not only did we become a cult movie, it was also number one for 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually a blockbuster and a cult movie, which is a very rare thing, and I'm very fortunate to be involved in that. But if you really look at it, it was a political message in it. It was the first time a kid black actor was playing the lead and the hero.
Yes.
It's taking place in the ghetto with slumlords, and it was so much in between the lines as a message when Wes was writing this that I had no idea when we were shooting it. None of us did until years later we realized, oh my God, this movie was way ahead of its time.
Way ahead of its time.
And
Because
I think, yeah,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead. Yeah, no, I think that's one of the reasons it survives and to this day, and on and on and on, is because it is a very deep, very message concept film that you can learn from 30 years ago and today.
Isn't it kind of sad that a lot of issues that that are highlighted in that movie are still an issue 30 years now?
It is sad. It's even more prevalent now. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's I guess it's up and down, but yeah, it is sad that we haven't gone any further.
Yeah.
At the same time, it does make the movie very present in this moment as well, and very important. So, you know, one thing I always ask Wes about is to do a sequel, and we talked about it a lot. And he really liked this film, so he's like, I don't really want to screw up the film, but we did talk about a sequel a couple of times where he was gonna follow me and a couple of the boys after, or what happened to the people under the stairs. It fizzled out, never happened. But in 2015 they were doing a TV. He actually signed a deal with Sci-Fi and television for People on the Stairs TV series. I was in contact. We were messaging back and forth, and he said, "You're definitely going to be part of this." It was exciting, and that was he signed a deal in May 2015, and he passed away in August. Wow. So obviously, if you look it up, it's still listed as in development, but I doubt very much it's going to. Anything's going to happen with it. And then we have Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Who has now signed on to do a reboot. I don't know when or if it's going to happen, but he definitely announced it in the trades about now, I think almost 2 years ago now.
Now, has he talked to has he reached out to you at all?
No, not me personally, but my management and my people, so to speak, is on top of it, and I hope I can be part of it. I would love to be part of it, and especially not only because of what it has given me in my life and my career, and just also because how much I respect Wes and how much he helped me further in my life just by directing this film. He taught me a lot. He was like a father. This was like one big family. And he's the opposite of what you see in horror movies. He's all heart. He's all love. Everybody has to get along and, hang out. And, he was fantastic. It was an amazing experience. And to give him the respect he deserves on this film, I would like to be involved in it.
And I've heard the same thing that you've said from several actors and actresses who have worked with him in the past, that he was all about trying to get the best out of his actors and actresses. He was always trying to help. He was less like a tyrant when you hear some filmmakers, and more like, like you said, a father figure.
Yeah, no, he was very he was very concerned that everybody had fun, first of all. And at the same time, he wanted the best performance possible. But he was so calm. He was so relaxed. He was never stressed. Like some directors get really stressed and so forth. And I mean, I have a story for you on that. We were over budget. And we were in studio, and I come to the set first thing in the morning. I usually show up around 6 a.m. every day because I have 6 hours in my makeup chair before we even start shooting. And everybody's running around like ants. Usually you come to set and it was a very calm atmosphere. It was very chilled. I come, and this morning, everybody's running around like something is on fire. And stressed and this and that, and I'm like, what's going on? Oh, the suits are coming. The Universal suits are coming because we're over budget. So, everybody was saying, maybe, I don't want to lose my job. What if they shut us down and this and that? And everybody was, from the producers to the makeup artists to all the to other actors. it was a very stressful atmosphere all of a sudden, but except one person that they couldn't find. So the suit shows up, and everybody's looking for Wes. And like, where's Wes? We need to talk to Wes. Where's Wes? And the producers were running around. Everybody was looking for Wes. And him and I, we talked a lot in between scenes. Like I said, we worked on my character. He wanted me to kind of oversee and more or less take care of Brandon Adams and AJ Langer, because I was, older than them were. They were kids. So we talked a lot about, me helping him with the responsibility of having younger people on set and making sure everything goes all right. So we had a few places where we hung out at lunch and so forth. And this was at Renmar Studios, where the roof is completely flat. And so I knew, let me go see if I can see him. So I knew this place. So I take the fire ladder up to the roof on the corner, and I look up, and it's a blue sky, and the sun's shining, and Wes is lying down on his back, just staring right up in the sky. And I'm like, Wes, what are you doing? Everybody's looking for you. What are you doing? He said, I'm just waiting for them to leave so I can finish my movie.
And I'm pretty sure they had no idea that it was going to be such a success.
No, not at all. Nobody did, I don't think. I mean, they made the budget back on the first weekend, I think. So, and like I said, we stayed number one for 6 weeks, I remember. It was definitely a major hit. And that, like we said, then turned into having a cult following. And another thing I want to mention, and you touched base on it earlier, that we have a new audience now. But a lot of the audience, especially that come and sees us when we do these conventions and signings, this is one of the few horror movies that I ever heard of where parents let their 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds see this movie. I mean, there was some blood in that movie, I had to tell you.
It's pretty violent.
And they always like, how old are you? Oh, I was 7. How old? I was 6. And they let you see that? Oh, yeah, they let me see the movie. Especially also because there was an 11-year-old kid was the lead in it. So, but it's very rare that you hear about a horror movie where the parents let their kids at that age watch it. So
I agree.
So that's something, and it's another different thing that we have going for this film.
Now, you also touched on 6 hours for makeup each day. How did you? I cannot even imagine sitting in a chair for 6 hours. What was that like, and how did you pass the time?
Well, we had this room, and it was me and Mark Maitre, who became one of my closest friends after this film. He worked for K&B. K&B Effects is, doing Walking Dead and all these other things now. But Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger, they're still around. Mark was one of their lead makeup artists at the time. And, he put up a TV in the corner of the room, and he put on Tex Avery cartoons. The old comedic cartoons. And we just sat there, watched cartoons and laughed and talked, and we had first couple of days or first couple of times, maybe it was a little bit, you didn't know what was going to happen. I think we got the 6 hours down to maybe 4 on a few days or 5 on some days. All depends on how the glue stuck, because I had like 3 different pieces to put on, including shoulders and that kind of stuff. But you get close with someone. I mean, Mark was in my wedding years later.
I can imagine, because that's a long time to be spending someone one-on-one. I mean, that close, and I could see a bond building.
Oh, definitely. And then I had about 2 hours to take it off. So I had an 8-hour day without filming a single minute.
That's what people work at, yeah.
Well, the overtime was good.
Yeah, I bet. So when you first saw people on this series in the theaters for the first time, were you like, whoa, holy shit, this is something new. This is something different. I mean, because when that movie came out, there were so many other horror movies. I'm pretty sure if I pull up 1991, there's probably 20 other horror movies that had a theatrical release that year. But when you saw that, were you like, wow, whoa, this is something different?
Maybe not the first time I ever watched it, because as an actor, all I wanted to see was when am I coming in, and what scenes did they keep, and probably more like when I actually went to the theater, because the first time I saw the film, we had a private screening at Universal
Hmm.
for the crew and cast with Wes. And at that point, I was more or less, checking my own performance out, and thinking, God, it's been 30 minutes. I'm not in here yet, because he brought us in about 40-minute mark, and then we were in through the movie. But the first time I went to the theater, I realized, because then you see the reactions of the audience. You see people laughing, because it was, when he puts on his bondage outfit, the man.
Hmm.
Uh, and those kind of moments where Wes put in, that was actually funny. So it has some comedy in it, and I didn't realize that either when we were shooting it. I didn't see this as a, because I when I was at K&B, Ving Rhames was doing his full body cast, and I see all that, his whole body full of blood, and I'm like, whoa. I saw all the gore stuff, and we were shooting. So I never really thought about comedy until I saw it on the first time in the theaters, and there was all these laugh moments, and I'm like, this is something. This is something extraordinary. I think this is going to, I had no idea it was going to go where it went, but I knew we were onto something special.
Amazing. Now, are you going to be? I know, I live in Baltimore, Maryland, and I know in September there's a People Under the Stairs reunion at one of the conventions here. Is that something that you're going to be at?
Yeah, if you're talking about the Fright Threads
Fight
Book
night?
Fest or something,
Yes, 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 yes.
yes, I will be there. There's going to be me and Brandon Adams, Sean Whalen, I think Kelly Jo Minter as well, and then one of the double stuntmen that was William Perry, I think, was coming as well. The three of us, me, Sean, and Brandon, go out a lot. Kelly Jo, most of the time, but this is the first time this is William Perry's coming with us, so be interesting to meet him. We have never had a convention with him, so it's going to be, I think, five of us.
Nice. Now, so I go to a lot of horror conventions for my channel, and just because I like horror conventions, I like to be able to meet, some of my horror icons. Is it nice? I mean, it must be awesome. I would love to be sitting in a booth myself and just having people come and say, "Wow, Travis, I loved you in on your YouTube channel." Is it refreshing?
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's we love to do the conventions, but all the fans that have come and want to talk about the film, and all the very similar questions that you have now, and we have been known, because we know each other so well now, so we have been known to have some of the fun Q&A, because we give each other so much shit, and we know what button to push, and everybody's okay with it. It's not like anybody gets offended. We just go back and forth like an old married couple, or the three, four of us. So we have fun on that as well, and we do some really fun Q&As. We hang out. Like I said, all these 30 plus years, we got to know each other quite well, and we've been all over. We've been in Europe, we've been in Germany, we've been in England, we've been in all over the United States for the last now, I think, 10, 15 years on these conventions. Some years more, some years less, So we don't want to oversaturate it either. It's not, it's fun to come when you see people who's never been to one before, or never seen you at one before. I think that's what we like the best.
And that's what I'm excited for. Because I was actually talking to William Perry, and he was telling me, I was talking about People in this area. So I love that movie. So, oh, well, so you live in Baltimore. We're going to be in Fright Reads in September. I was like, really? I will be there. So I'm definitely going to swing by.
Yeah, please come to the table.
I definitely will.
Let's have a chat. And if you want, I'm sure you can do some. If you want to cut in some interviews in a later podcast, we're more than happy to do like a 5-minute snippet each or something. If you bring in any kind of a,
yes, I will. We'll be
even
bringing
on
my camera.
Yeah, even on an iPhone, whatever you want. Like, we're more than happy to do that.
Awesome. So, as an actor, when you got your first big check for motion picture film, what was the first big purchase you made?
Um, well, I didn't really do a big purchase on the people on the stairs. What I did, which I never did after that, I it was so much fun because I was still in my 20s
Mhm.
to get that check every week. So I actually, like I said, don't do this because you spend it much faster. But I actually asked the accountant if I can get cash every Friday. So I would have the cash in my pocket and go out with friends and be able to treat people and that was the feeling for me. When because being an actor is a lot of up and downs, a lot of rejections, and when you finally get those bigger checks, uh, I just wanted to be able to have some fun with my friends and be able to pick up the dinners and drinks and so. For the first, I think 6-7 weeks, I got cash every Friday, and like I said, wouldn't do that again. uh, I do have another story about the actual money involved in this film. So obviously, we didn't know how big it's going to be, and my parents were going to come visit me for the first time since I moved here uh, in '92. Like a year and a half after the movie, or basically a year after the movie was released, they were gonna come visit me. And at that point, I hadn't worked for a while, so I'm like, I want to take them everywhere. I want to treat them everywhere because they were my biggest supporters when I moved here, and they helped me, finance my dream in the beginning. And so I was very, very grateful. And I'm thinking to myself, my dream would be for them to come here and not spend not spend a penny, all on me, taking them everywhere, Disneyland and this and this and that, and show them Hollywood and Universal and and dinners every night, and like really would like that to happen. So now, like they said, you if you just ask, you receive. The 3 days before my parents landed in from Sweden here in the States, I got my first People on Stairs residuals check from the theatrical release, and I tell you, that took care of everything plus a lot more. So that was a gift from heaven.
Nice. So that's an amazing story, man. That's an amazing story. Now, are you still get residual checks over the years, right?
Oh yeah, that's another amazing thing with this movie because it's been out so long. Every 3 months, I get a check from People on the Stairs. More and less and more depending on where it's been released and showed, but it keeps ticking.
Love it, man. I love it. Jan, where can everyone find you, my friend?
Instagram, Jan Birch page, Facebook, Jan Birch, my fan page there. I'm not on X that much, anymore, but janbirch.com, you can go check my website. But Instagram and Facebook, I'm quite active. So please follow me there, check it out, and I post videos and releases and pictures from films and behind the scenes and all kinds of fun stuff.
Jan, this has been like a childhood dream thing right now. I mean, this is the coolest part of my job because I get to interview people, actors and filmmakers that I watch, growing up, and this has been an absolute pleasure, man. I can't wait to see you in September at Fright Reads in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah,
September.
28th and 29th. 28th and
Yes.
29th. So anybody who listens here, please come out.
Yes, and that's actually my birthday weekend because my birthday is on the 27th. So,
oh wow,
definitely be coming down
you
saying
have,
hi.
You have to remind us of that when you get there.
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. All right, everyone.
Awesome.
By the way, if you have not seen People in this Area, please go check it out. It's such a great movie. It really is. It like Jan was saying, it still holds up today. I watched it a couple months ago, and it's such a great movie.
It is. I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative that you had me on here and then talk about, still my favorite job of all time. I think still my favorite director I ever worked for is Wes Craven. God bless him.
Yes, and I'm sad that I never got a chance to meet him. I mean, the guy is was a genius
Yes,
when
he
it came
was.
to horror.
And you know what? Until Scream, he dreamed every single movie he made. It was a dream. And then he woke up and wrote it down.
Wow.
That's how Freddy Krueger and all that happened.
Yeah, you think about it, Hill has eyes. I mean, you think about Shockmaster. I mean, there's so many great movies. You kind of forget how many movies Wes Craven put out there.
I agree.
And even a lot of new filmmakers today, like Eli Roth and Ty West, you ask them, their inspiration came from Wes Craven, and the guy just.
I mean, Jordan Peele's favorite movie. At least
Yeah.
in one interview, he said that's why he, that one of his main inspirations for Get Out was People Under the Stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree, and he's still inspiring a lot of new and young filmmakers today.
Oh, for sure.
Jan, I'm gonna see you in September, my friend.
Travis, thanks for having me. I can't wait to see you.
It's a pleasure. Everyone, thank you for coming to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Birch, and that's Jan Birch.
Thank you so much.
See you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.